Okay, looks like we're streaming live on Facebook. So welcome everybody to Bookkeeper's Corner for today, Friday, June the 25th. Hopefully everybody is having a great week. So first, our question of the day, I thought a really fun question might be, who has some fur babies that they would like to show that happen to be in the office, especially a new fur baby? So do a quick introduction of your fur babies. So I will go first. I am Tanya Hiltz from Cloud Business Services. I do have a fur baby who is not working with me right now, but that's a picture of her. She's somewhere else in the house hanging out. So she's a little beagle. Her name is Rosie, and she is our office manager. Okay, so we will go in the circle. Lawrence, you're up next.
Good afternoon, everybody. Lawrence Fox, Accounting Wizard Solutions, the CPA that loves to do bookkeeping from usually the sunniest basement in all of Thornhill, but it's raining outside today, so I decided to switch things up. Yes, I am owned by a cat, because those no cats know that cats do not have owners, cats have staff. So I do not consider my cat a fur baby. I just consider it my feline overlord, and I pay attention when she asks. And no, she's upstairs right now, curled up in a corner. If I brought her downstairs to show her off on the camera, she'd last about 20 seconds. For some reason or other, she doesn't like my office.
We've seen her once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah.
I dragged her in. She looked at you guys on the screen and said, "Psst, I'm out of here."
All right. Okay, so Jonathan does have a fur baby, and hopefully he will be back to introduce his fur baby. Kim, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. Kim from Beyond Bookkeeping Business Services. I have 3 fur babies, so I will go in order, not only from biggest to smallest, but also oldest to youngest. So this is Buddy. Somebody's getting jealous that I picked him up first. He is 12 years old, and I've had him since he was a baby, and he's this big. And then the jealous one and the medium-sized one is 2-year-old Layla. She is 6.5 pounds, and I've had her since she was a baby. And then my little one and newest one is Karma, and I've also had her since she was a baby, since she's still a baby, and she's just over 2 pounds right now. So those are my fur family, and I don't have real children, so I'm going to eliminate the word fur and just say that's my family.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. All right. Hari Kumar, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Hari Kumar. I'm from India, actually. Actually, this is 1 o'clock night here. Yeah. I have a pet, right? Yeah, small cat, but she's sleeping under bed. But I'm not sleeping and I'm here.
I was going to say, because it's nice time, of course she's sleeping, right? Right. I don't know how you guys do it.
Tanya,
like dealing with that.
It's
a cat.
Okay.
Sorry, a cat.
Cats are awake 20 minutes a day when it's time to eat. The
You're
rest
right.
of the time they sleep.
You're right.
When it's time to tell you what to do.
You're right. Anyway, sorry, Hari Kumar, go on.
Hey, that's actually an advantage. Someone working at the time of my sleep, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And also vice versa. You are sleeping when you are sleeping. I am also working at that time, right?
Right. So you sleep. You just work all the time then, apparently. You work when we sleep, and you work when we work.
And just I'm waking up for meeting all of you. So just for that.
Oh, well, that's so nice. Thank you very much for joining us then, and for waking up just to meet us. That's I deal a lot with auto review, or Zenet, I think is what they're called now. They just rebranded, and they're in India. And so I feel really bad for them every time, like I see it's nighttime right there. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad because they're like, yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is. I'm like, you guys should be in bed. So it must be really tough when you're dealing with somebody, over here, like to have to get up and get used to that because you don't have any like normalcy to your sleep pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, kudos to you. That's dedication to the industry. Awesome. And this is your first time here, so welcome. And hopefully when you're, if it doesn't interrupt your sleep too much, you can join us as much as you can every week, same time, same channel, basically. Awesome.
Yeah, I will try the level best to attend all of these meetings, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. And Jessica.
What?
Hi, Jessica Fox from Florida Virtual Bookkeeper, Bandera Fox on Facebook. And this is my fur baby. She's my assistant, the one that reminds me to take breaks. And I am also fostering 2 puppies, but they're not in the office right now. And I would not want to get them because things are quiet and I want them to stay that way for as long as possible.
That makes perfect sense. Awesome. Thank you. So a topic that we were kind of talking about off camera before we came on camera that I thought was a great topic. Jessica's like, hey, we talked about that. Let's just keep going. And it's absolutely a wonderful idea. What do you do when a client lies to you? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the relationship and the client? So yeah, who's got thoughts first? Go ahead.
I tend to be like 0 tolerance when it comes to dishonesty and ethical things. I tend to be very quick to disengage, and especially if it's something that could affect me professionally, that could come back to haunt me. Now, I will admit, in some case, if I can tell it's ignorance, like the client did something dishonest just because they did not know better. Example being, they applied for COVID relief funding that they were not really eligible for simply because somebody told them that they should. They didn't ask me, they just went and did it. I'll give the benefit of the doubt for that. And that's like 1 strike and you're out after that. But if they're lying to me or to their tax preparer, or they're asking me to lie in their books or anything that I prepare for them, then that's a quick disengagement letter. It's just like 2 clicks to trigger that worked from 17 hats and just wash my hands off.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And this is where like the client we were kind of talking about off camera, it was a similar situation. It was, I had said no, but there's other accountants out there and other people that, I know we're telling this person yes. So that's why I didn't do an immediate disengagement with them. And then other things came up, and yes, good news is we're disengaging in 5 days. So, which is absolutely awesome for me. And we've already replaced them with somebody who we know is much more ethical. But it was kind of like when that first lie came about, it's like, okay, well, they were honest with us. They just applied for something I had told them they weren't eligible for, but somebody else had told them they were. I just happened to be the only one that showed the proof. So, but end of the day, yeah. So what would anybody else do then?
I'm guessing I would fire the client, but I haven't yet caught one lying to me.
That's good.
I mean, there is 1 or 2 clients where occasionally they may have done something which skates close to the line, and I've had a conversation with them, but I haven't yet found one practicing out and out fraud. The closest is one of them did apply for one of the COVID loans, and I says, really didn't apply to you. If the government catches it, you're going to have to pay it back or sooner. And he says, all right, so I have to pay it back. I'll pay it back. I'm not worried about it. I said, okay, as long as you know what's going on. But
Yeah.
I haven't yet caught somebody out and out handing me fraudulent receipts or, putting a family party through the business, which I have
Right.
seen on the other side do it when I was in the event business. And I saw invoices going out to people in the name of the company that I know is a private family party.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, that's not, you know, when the client says to my client, bill it to my company, it's not my job to say,
No.
you know, we're helping him defraud the government, because I can't prove
Absolutely.
it. I can't prove it.
Absolutely. Exactly. Well, and that's, we did have one client who is no longer with us, and this was one of the reasons, because they kept pushing, essentially asking us to defraud the government. Essentially, we won't. They didn't look at it like that. They just looked at it, hey, let's, you know, take some liberties kind of here, whatever. But put through, and it's kind of like that. No, we pay closer attention to the receipts, because this receipt was so. The situation was that this person, we knew that they were involved romantically with a member of their team. They had hired their girlfriend and they were separating from their wife. We knew a lot of information because somebody who did some subcontracting from me was also the office man, like was also this person's manager, and then they fired this person. So we knew a lot of stuff like that's going on back and forth. And then they happened to submit a receipt that they said was for their assistant manager, who was not the person they were having a relationship with, by the way, either, which is hilarious, but to their assistant manager for some type of anniversary gift, whatever. She had hit a year or something, and it was like a $500 personal hair removal system. And I'm like, okay, that's pushing it way too far, because I'm like, first off, a personal hair removal system, that would be bordering on her, you know, a sexual harassment.
Inappropriate. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just went back and I said, look, here is the bottom line. This is, you know, this is a taxable benefit. You either need to buy one for every employee, and I want them to sign off saying they've received them, and we'll put it as a non-taxable benefit on their pay stub, or it's going to go on this person's pay stub as a taxable benefit. Oh, no, just put it shareholders then. I'll eat the cost. So tried to get us a few things like that. And you know what, we give sometimes, and in that case, we gave no leniency. Sometimes I give a little bit more, because I'm like, okay, you know what, maybe if they're trying, you know, they all have a friend who does this and does that. But when they're really pushing it, or they ask multiple times, that's when it's time to go, because you just don't know, like, you know, what they're going to turn around and say that, oh, you told them they could put in. They've shown some dishonesty, and they would absolutely throw you under the bus, in my opinion. So, and I will say to people, you know what, even if it's something that they're trying to say they can put off, I will then turn around and say, well, you know what, if you really truly believe this is then going to be a conversation with your accountant. We will put it in shareholders. If your accountant agrees, when your accountant does a tax return, they can then move it.
I've had it happen a few times, you know, where a client asks you a question that you can just tell the way they're kind of beating around the bush or humming and hawing about it, that they know, but what the answer is going to be, that it's not legal or that it's a gray area or something. But they're asking because they want you to say yes, they can do it. And I mean, my ideal client when I'm bringing somebody on is a person where I'm doing 100% of the entries anyway. I very rarely have clients that go into their books themselves. And so if I come across something that I'm entering that doesn't look right, I'll have a conversation with them about it. And unless they can prove that it is, I just tell them I'm posting this to shareholder, like it or not. That's where I am putting it. If you want it to go elsewhere, then we need to disengage and you'll have to find somebody else to do it for you. And a recent example, I have a fellow that I know from my personal life. He's a fellow motorcycle rider in the area, and he has a business, an assembly business, where people hire him to assemble furniture that they've bought, or, you know, a shed that they bought for their backyard. So he assembles things that people have already bought. And he had a receipt for a pair of Nike running shoes. And so I spoke to him about it. I was like, was these for business? He's like, yes, I wear them when I go to clients' places for work and stuff. I said, do you ever wear them anywhere else when you are out shopping or out for dinner with your girlfriend or anything? Like, are these everyday shoes that you're wearing everywhere? Lawrence, wake up. And so we had a conversation about it, and I said, you know, if you're wearing them anywhere other than work, then I can't put them through for you. And I know I've seen you wear them other places, so I'm not putting it through. And in the end, he was just like, okay, no problem, whatever you think. So it worked out okay.
That's like the conversation I had with my client who's the DJ, where his accountant told him it was okay for him to buy some clothing and write it off because it was for performing. And I said, but do you wear it anywhere else? And he said, sometimes.
Mhm. It's not
So-
for work then.
Well, and I had he was a model, and he never made more than $1,000 a year for his modeling. So he wasn't a serious model. That wasn't his full-time source of income. But he turned around and he said that no, he tried to put through all of his clothes, all of his hairstyling products, all of everything. And his sister tried to put through all the makeup and everything. And their argument was, well, I have to look good 100% of the time because I never know when I'm going to run into a model. And I said, well, if you're not making money, if it's not only for making money, 100% only used for that, like, no, I don't care, because, you know, like, you're a 21-year-old single guy. I'm sorry, you're going to look your best no matter where you go anyway, because you're single. Like, you know, at 21
You haven't
years old,
seen my son. He's not running around trying to look his best no matter where he goes. He's 21 and single. So
So he's just being authentic. He's like, here's the real me, take it or leave it, right?
well, you know, engineers.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
How they breed, I don't know, but eventually they do.
Oh, some people might say that about accounting professionals too, right? They just don't know us that well.
They don't know the good ones well.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's been a very long week.
Okay. So, Hari Kumar, I'd love to hear your oh, sorry, yeah, Jonathan just gave us a note. He's on CRA call. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you do when you've got a client who's lying to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'd love to hear like how you would deal with the client who you found out has lied to you.
Yeah. Actually, we are doing something. I'm started this virtual accounting or virtual bookkeeping services about at the mid of this pandemic time. Okay, because before that I'm doing the taxation activities, taxation work, and about I have I don't have any hundreds of clients or anything. I have only 30 or 35 clients. Okay, then. Basically, what is the basic thing I've seen in this market in India is that most of the businessmen were not at all aware about how to manage this, or they were not at all bothered about their accounts or financial data or anything. They were just getting the money from the business, they are utilizing this, and at the end of the year, they will approach some CFOs or anything, and they will do the enter things for statutory matters. Okay, then what happened here is that when the statutory complaints and the government will ask for the books or anything, they will working for somewhere else and doing everything and spending so much of money. But the genuine thing, they didn't know what is their financial position or profit or sales or anything else. That's why I'm entering to this type of business. Okay, then the next thing is the very nice thing is that most of the person need to reduce their income. When we are stating this, these were the right level of income and this is the right profit, they're thinking that, oh, this is my profit. You need to reduce this profit. I want to show it to the government. Okay. That is at that time we were trapped actually, because if we need to reduce the revenue, it is not easy job, right? But they were not ready to pay for that. That is the basic thing I've seen in this market now. And again, once again, one thing is I'm adding to this, and I'm apologizing for something like that. I didn't follow some colloquial words or something like that, or sometimes your speed of languages, because I am not at all familiar to this type of speed, right? so sometimes I will ask you, I didn't understand, or pardon, or sorry. Okay, don't think anything about that. Okay.
No, that's perfectly okay. And one thing that I know with me, I talk fast. I try not to, but I'm a very fast talker. So yeah, if English is a second language, which you're great at the English, but you're right. If I talk faster, and yeah, so my apologies. I'll try. Yeah, so absolutely. If you need something repeated, absolutely, just do that. And you're gonna find there's not many like differences between the terminologies. A lot might be the same with that. So with me, I would bet it's that I'm talking too fast. That's a known issue with me. So yeah. No,
yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
absolutely. No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's see. So Jonathan he's on a call now. So he's typed in that he actually had a couple that came to them that had actively been defrauding the government and wanted them to clean it up for them. So they just priced themselves out. So they told me it would likely be $5,000 a month plus a lawyer. There we go. That's really good. But yeah, a lot of the time, if there's something like that, I would agree that I would just say no. I wouldn't price myself out of it. I would just say we're not a good fit. That's not what we do. Yeah. Oh, sorry. He says it was actually still a tax situation, not bookkeeping, but still. So 5,000 for the taxes plus a lawyer. Yeah. And that was in 2016. So yeah, that makes sense, Jonathan, for sure. Yeah. Cause I don't want to deal with somebody who's not going to be honest, because if they're not honest with us, what are they going to say when they leave us? I mean, they're going to throw us under the bus immediately.
Yeah.
We know that. So, yeah, so what are some other situations then that you guys might decide to not deal with the client?
The ones who don't understand boundaries.
Yes.
I mean, I think I've told you the story before. I had a now ex-client when Ruffy was a little kid, and he was one of these people that whenever he had an idea, he needed to talk to me about it, no matter what time of day it was. And so one time it was 6 o'clock in the evening and I was feeding my son and the phone rang and I picked up the phone and it was the client, because this was back in the days before we had call display and I didn't know who was calling. I answered the phone and he starts going on and on and on. And I just stopped and I said, "Richard, is the office burning down?" He said, "No." "Is the government at your door arresting you?" He said, "No." And then whatever the fuck it is, it can wait till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock. This is my time. And I hung up the phone. 2 weeks later, he fired me. And one of the reasons he fired me was he said he didn't see his two oldest children grow up. And I said, "That's my problem. How?"
Wow. So because he didn't see his two oldest children grow up, you should not see your child grow up.
Well, because therefore I wasn't dedicated enough to his business to fit into. Now he says with his third child, he was taking the time to spend with him. And I said, well, that's very nice, but that doesn't mean that I have to, sacrifice everything so
Absolutely.
you can raise your child. So
He's
you're going to
not-
fire me? That's fine. See you later.
If
Yeah,
somebody,
because not everybody respects boundaries, and you don't need people like that want you to be at their constant beck and call. There are some people that have no life and are workaholics and have no family and will happily do that for a premium. But it's our choice whether we want to offer that. And that's a premium service, to be available 24/7 anytime somebody feels like, oh, I'm in the mood to talk shop. If they cannot respect that boundary, well, bye. Have a nice life. Good luck on your future endeavors.
I don't even offer it as a premium service.
you know what?
Neither do
I would. I probably would offer it to somebody as a premium service at $5,000 a week.
Oh.
That's all. That's all it would be
for
worth.
$5,000
to
a week, I may actually answer my phone. I do have caller ID, so I screen my calls. My business number doesn't even ring to me. It goes to answering service, leave a message, or voicemail, leave a message.
Same here. I don't answer my phone unless I'm expecting a call.
Yeah, and that's it with us
Well,
too.
if I know the caller, if I see it's a client, I'm going to answer the phone. Most of the time, it's a quick 30-second or 1-minute conversation. It's over. It's done with. You know, if it's a client calling, I'm going to take the call. Unless if I was here with you guys having this conversation and wasn't expecting a call from a client that called me, I may or may not take the call. There's somebody who owes me a ton of money, and I sent them an email and a voicemail and a text today. And if he happened to call right now, trust me, I would say, guys, I got to take this call. But if it was a client calling me right now, I may or may not take the call. It depends on the client. But after 5 o'clock, no.
Yeah, and so now I will take, a call from, like Jonathan. He'll pick up the phone, he'll call me, whatever, but he checks with me first. And, and same thing. I've done the same thing to him if I'm working in the evenings, because sometimes it gets, busy during the day. But again, I check with him first. And we also have the type of relationship that, we know that if the one person forgets to ask, is this a good time? Then we could just say, you know what, it's not a good time. Can we call you back? Or, this isn't going to wait. I'm doing personal stuff and I don't want to deal with anything or whatever. But usually it's just something like really quick and easy. But we're choosing to do that. And you're choosing who you talk to, right? Yeah. He says, heck yeah. He wish we could schedule a call back from CRA as well. And then he says also that he agrees with you, Lawrence, for quick responses. He would, but certainly not 24/7, right? So now,
if I wanted to be at somebody's beck and call, I'd still be an employee. And even if I was an employee, if they called me after, called me at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, unless it was something I prearranged with my employer, it's after hours. Goodbye.
Well, and you know what? Prearrange. That is the key word, because I will talk to clients on a weekend. I will make exceptions, but that is it. They know it. They here's my calendar, and they're like, you know what? It's just not working. So I'll say to them, you know what? I'm going to be working this weekend a little bit anyway. Here's the time frame. So again, I set the parameters, but they know it's an exception only because I'm happening to be in the office. And even if I wasn't going to be in the office, I would still say that, yes, I plan on working. Here's a 2-hour window that we can chat on Saturday. I'll make an exception, but yeah, certainly.
It's nice to have money and it's nice to have clients, but these people have to realize that everybody has a life. And there has to be a limit. And you know what? Most of us went to work for ourselves. Something in there was a quality of life issue.
Yep.
Or after working for ourselves for a certain length of time and we became unemployable because we'd never go back to work for somebody else. We said that one of the reasons we are unemployable is it's 5 o'clock. The day is over. It's 5 o'clock Friday and I'm not taking calls until Monday morning. That's how I run my business.
Yeah.
As you being your own business owner, your own employer, you get to set those boundaries, and whatever client doesn't accept that, they can find somebody that is willing to be on their beck and call. That's why I have a communication clause in my agreement. And it's also in the client handbook that they get with onboarding. I don't care if they don't read it, because if they ever ignore my policy, I just gently point them to the thing they sign. There are no emergencies in accounting. There's nothing that cannot wait until the next business day.
Exactly.
Well, there may be emergency in accounting if they screwed something up and CRA is at the door knocking, but generally.
Usually that emergency could have been prevented because they probably got letters daily.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
They're not going to show up without first giving you a heads
they
up.
froze my bank account. This is the government, the tax department is not going to freeze your bank account unless you ignored about 6 months worth of letters and telephone calls.
And they're not
procrastination.
And they're not going to unfreeze it within a very quick visit. They're not going to then, click and give you access in 10 minutes to your bank account either.
There used to be an accountant and a lawyer who used to advertise on the radio around here until I think he ran afoul of both CRA and the CPAs and the Law Society, where he kept saying all the time, if you have a problem with CRA and they've frozen your bank accounts, call me because I'm a lawyer and you have protection. Yeah, it was,
Wow.
the ads disappeared after a couple of years.
No, well,
I think he finally ran afoul of the various.
wow. No, and that communication clause, Jessica says that's in ours too. It's in the engagement and in there that it's a 48-hour turnaround time unless they choose a 24-hour turnaround time, depending on what plan, because there are no accounting emergencies. We're all working from home. Our phone doesn't ring often, but when it does, if we're in the middle of deep work, we don't stop the deep work to answer the phone because there's no emergencies. So if we're doing some light work or I look at the phone number and I see which client it is, I'm like, oh, just for me to call them back later is just going to be a pain. I'd rather pick up now or something. But otherwise, we don't have a rush to answer the phone just for that purposes because the clients know.
I need a sign for my spouse that says, in deep work, go away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can't ignore her when she comes into the office.
Yeah. But our phone doesn't ring often. In deep work, Jonathan's putting absolutely no distractions in deep work. I got that phrase deep work from one of our Enhancing the Accountant Bookkeeper Connection series, and Jonathan brought that up.
90% of the time, like I've already said, I don't answer my phone unless I have a meeting with a client and I know that it's them calling me instead of me calling them. But 90% of the time when I check the voicemail afterwards, it's usually an app trying to connect with me or sell me on their program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of our clients actually communicate by email because they know we're going to get to the email and we're going to be able to like see that as they come in. And then they know that way they've been able to say what they need to say. We have the information and we can respond when we can, because there may be times that I'm working on the weekend and I try to remember to have it email back on Monday. But again, if I'm working, sometimes I'll just do that and just, hit send, so, but whatever, then they have the answer because they know there's really no emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not generally a big deal. And if they do want to chat, they'll just send us a quick email and just say, hey, can we talk? In which case, then we say what we prefer to do is we then send them our booking link and we ask them to book an appointment and they can pick, do they want a phone appointment or do they want it on Zoom? And then they're guaranteed their time.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I do. And it works beautifully.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Mm.
I mean, I'm almost tempted with what I pay for the phone service. I'm almost tempted to say we're 100% virtual with no phones and just get rid of the phone lines. I mean, the phone only rings once every couple of weeks here during non-tax season. So it's.
Yeah, well, except now lately the tax season never ends, but that's the other reason I don't do taxes.
Me either now.
I know.
Great.
You look so much more relaxed.
Thank you. Well, and I'm actually been trying to walk out of the office every day in between 5 or 6. When I work on the weekends, I'm only coming in and working until 1 at the latest. And I don't get up before 10 on the weekends, or I don't come into the office before 10 because I'll lie in bed and I'll just be like, you know what? Sometimes I'll just lie there and I'll read or I'll be whatever. I'll be awake, but I refuse to enter the world until 10 on weekends. So I'm only in here working maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. And then I've been going out and spending the rest of the day at the pool and on the deck. So it's been quite relaxing.
It wasn't so rainy, I'd go outside and sit in the sun and relax for a little bit, but I think it's raining out there. So
we don't have the rain yet, but it's definitely overcast. So I assume we'll be getting it.
I looked outside a few minutes ago and it looked wet. So, and I've had an awful headache all afternoon. So.
Oh. Well, I figured the rain was coming because it got really humid last night. So
I know it's nothing like the monsoon season, but it's just annoying.
And of course I say that and Hari Kumar chuckled. I bet you I've heard it is extremely humid in India, so I probably shouldn't be complaining.
I need to wash my car and water my lawn. And I've been hesitating all week because every day it's been overcast, and I keep thinking the minute I wash my car or water my lawn, it's going to rain anyway.
So go ahead and do it, Kim, and we'll just blame it all on you.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling it's waiting for tomorrow because I have twin nephews, and tomorrow is their birthday party, which is always an outdoor barbecue, and they have a pool at their house and stuff. So I have a feeling it's holding off until tomorrow, and it's gonna.
Because I have to go drive my son up north 2 hours and change on Sunday, so I hope it's not raining. He's working at a summer camp outside of the city, so I have to drive him up there.
So yeah, Jonathan just put in there that it's supposed to rain. He's north of Toronto, for those that know Ontario, and he says it's supposed to rain for 7 days up there. So all of that 7 days and 7 nights. I'm like, wow, do you need to build an ark?
Great fishing weather, Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's my fur baby. She decided to come into the office.
Did you shake the treat bag for her? Hi, Rosie.
I did not. She came looking for treats.
Rosie. Can she hear the speaker?
No, you're in my ears.
Oh.
But now here's the treat bag going. Here's her little treats.
Yeah.
She didn't go out, but she still looks cute. Yeah. So Jonathan put here, where to, Lawrence? I'm not sure what
I'm just double checking.
Okay. Oh, Jonathan, you can talk for yourself. You're back.
Yeah, I'm actually still have an earbud in on hold. So you gotta love this service, right? You get the call back, you spend 40 minutes on their schedule whenever they decide to call. And now I'm on hold. The estimated wait time is 1.5 to 2 hours.
Wow. But they're supposed to call you when you're the next caller in line. And how can there be a 1.5 to 2 hour wait for the next call?
Well, this is after I've spoken to 2 agents.
Okay, gotcha.
Now I'm on hold for a senior agent, and
so they're transferring, and yeah, whole new rules then. Wow.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Wow.
So I'm sorry to be in and out. It was sounding like some very interesting conversation, though.
Well, yes, and started by exactly, that was your question. What do you do when a client lies? So I thought that was a great question. So I don't know if you've got anything more you want to add to that. So add away.
Well, we've grown up a bit. If we get wind that somebody's doing something improper or illegal, no, we don't want anything to do with it at all. But then it's like sometimes, like, there's a difference too between a mistake and a lie, right? Like, oh, here's the receipt for XYZ. Oh no, wait a minute, that's for this other thing. That happens all the time, right? But when it's stuff like that other customer who deleted the thing that they were supposed to fill out and never filled out, and then we were found that they get a warning, and kind of, if it's going to be a problem, then see you later. It's one warning. People try white lies a lot, but when it comes to stuff like this, I don't think you should lie to your lawyer or your accountant, personally.
Or your doctor.
Yes.
Or your doctor. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting to me is that the clients that do that think that we really, really need their business for some reason.
Yeah, we're going through that now. We have somebody,
Yeah.
let's just say, grossly understated their real estate assets on the last tax return they filed, which was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
Is that Donald Trump?
And like, what? No, it's not.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Sorry. I don't usually get political.
Okay. I can't say any details, but I have multiple clients who've sued them, won, and not gotten any of what their award was.
Of course not.
Multiple.
Of course not. A court
Oh,
order saying you've won is a piece of paper. Yep. Anyway,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so go on.
It's this situation where essentially it's like, we need to figure out what happened, if there was an honest mistake or, things, and make things right. But like, we're talking about a misstatement that's 7 figures. Like, it's over $1 million in real estate as a cost, not as value now. So
Wow.
And they're pushing us to do it. And it's kind of to the point where it's like, oh, okay, listen, if you're not going to provide this information, you need to find another firm. And since I said that, I haven't heard anything back, and that was a couple of days ago. So I'm guessing she's probably shopping for another firm.
Yeah. Well, and
That's
the
okay.
minute that she's gone, guess what? Like, you're going to have that replaced. Karma seems to work that way. If you're ethical,
Within an hour it happened.
Yep.
So this person, I gave them this warning, was like, essentially like, get this for us or we're done. And within an hour, I had somebody show up with 2 years of corporate tax, bookkeeping done, and a pretty simple situation. Like, sure, let's do it.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
There's a big audio lag today.
There is.
You keep freezing and coming back.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's the world of internet. It happens. I'm surprised I haven't had a lag today, because I usually hit that, halfway through the call if I didn't restart my computer, and I haven't restarted it. So yeah, no, we've got sorry, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, speaking of computers, so somebody, you may have seen my post that I'm buying a new laptop for myself. And so I had spent the weekend in Toronto last weekend, and I went into, because through CPB Canada, of course, we get deals with Best Buy and Staples, right? So I was like, let me go in store. Computers is one of those things I don't like to buy online if I haven't physically spoken to somebody and seen it and touched it, if possible. So I went into the store with my little picture of what my current computer has, and these are the stats I want to have, and these are my questions and stuff. And so the one that I decided on was the Dell XPS. And I was like, okay, let me now go back through my association that I'm part of and get it online. And so when I went to get it online, I was still price shopping a little bit and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Here's a different one that I saw that I like. Let me see if the St. Catharines store has it in stock. So I went in today to see it. They didn't have that particular one in stock, but the Dell XPS that I saw in Toronto that was $2,200, they had an open box one. The St. Catharines store had an open box one of the exact same computer, all the same stats and everything, for $1,200, just because it's open box.
Well, and I
I
will
saved $1,000.
that's awesome. But I will say too, when you're buying Dell, if you buy, especially if you want the warranty, it's way cheaper if you buy it directly from Dell. They'll throw the warranty on for like $99 or whatever for 3 years, whereas Best Buy is going to charge you, like $600-700 or so. It's a big difference when you're doing the warranty.
Yeah, the 3-year warranty through Best Buy was $380.
Yeah,
but that's Best Buy's warranty. I've always gotten the one directly from Dell, where if something goes wrong, Dell comes to my house and fixes the computer.
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really do like Dell.
I needed it with my laptop. We got the same thing for Ruffy's laptop, and they had to come in here earlier this year to replace some parts on it that were overheating, and it was creating problems. But they'll do stuff with you on the telephone. And if worst case, they will send a technician out, and they'll do the work right here on site. Yeah, it's expensive. But
I'm just gonna see what their price is on that laptop.
Just watch out, because we have an XPS for Ruffy, and on one model year, they put the camera at the bottom of the screen, not at the top.
Oh, I use an external camera anyway.
I know, but so, and then they switched it back the next year, but he's got the one at the bottom. So sometimes he's having these Zoom calls, and it's looking right up his nose. It's like, why they put it to the bottom, nobody knows. I think it was because they wanted the bezel on top to be clean. And I think everybody looked at it and says, "Are you out of your freaking mind? Put the camera where it belongs, back at the top of the computer." So.
Does anybody have a app to convert to using as your webcam?
You broke up,
the
Jonathan. An
telephone.
app to convert what?
Use your
telephone
smartphone.
and turning your telephone into a webcam because it's got a higher quality camera than your. It's not
Oh.
always easy. There are a couple of them out there that I've seen, but it depends what kind of computer you have, and there's all kinds of. You need an adapter in addition to an app, I think, because most of the cameras don't output.
I'm mainly concerned about security.
Yeah, most of these don't
Like-
output.
Hmm.
I think some of them do,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So I know there are apps that'll do it, but I'm concerned that like when the app is free, what are they getting?
Mm,
Right. So I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah, you've gone muted. So yeah, I'm not sure. I do know that I actually found a very good app that is completely free to download. That is a scanning app. So if you want to take a quick picture of something, it's called Microsoft Lens. It is Office, so it's an Office one, completely free. You take a picture of whatever it is with that app, and it will actually straighten it out, and it'll, clear everything out, get rid of all the background. It's actually very, very cool. So I took a picture of a void check sitting on my keyboard yesterday, and it had all my numbers in the background, and it just is, just like fit right into the box. Grab that. I just like confirmed. I could have, done any changes. And of course, the angle I went, it was all angled, and it straightened it out. It looked beautiful. There was just a little bit of shadow on it. And I'm like, it's awesome. So free app, Microsoft Lens, free for anybody without an Office account.
I have seen some conversations about taking your camera, your Canon camera and some of that stuff, and turning that into a webcam. But again, Canon will output, so it can be used as a video device to your computer, but not all of the cameras will do that. You have to take a look. I know Canon, it's one of the things Canon has always done, is provided an output. Because years ago when I used to do a database design and development for a living, one of the things we did was create a thing so a Canon camera could be used to take a photo of somebody and create an ID card on the fly at some high security places that needed all the visitors to have photo ID. So it was specifically for Canon, and Canon provided the software development kit to do that, but not all of the cameras will output. So I have already checked. I think I have a Panasonic, and I took a look at it to see if I could convert that to a webcam, and the Panasonic won't do it, or at least the Panasonic camera I've got. See, Hari, we cover a lot of stuff here, not just bookkeeping and accounting.
Yeah.
You got any apps you love, Hardy?
Oh, I couldn't make out what you said, Jonathan.
Sorry, I was asking if Hari had any apps that he loved. I just realized that my microphone's being pointed at the ceiling the whole time. So
That could be why there's a bit of a delay in an issue. Excuse me. Well, we've actually gone over time, and I do have to run. So if anybody else wanted, that's great. You could stay on, but yes, I do have to run. So I thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Have a wonderful weekend. And I just have to throw a last minute shout out. If you have not already registered, Wednesday, June the 20th at noon Eastern, Canada time, and 9 Pacific Canada time, there is a webinar that Jonathan and I are, I host, Jonathan runs.
June 20th is past.
30th, sorry, June 30th. Sorry, my mistake. Thank you. June 30th, that is going to feature some great business coaches, and it's all about when is the right time to coach. So we know Kim will be there. Like, when's the right time to look for a coach? What should you look for? All kinds of stuff. And we have three.
I may have the Time Lord on my desk, but time travel is nothing I have done yet.
Gotcha. So to sign up for that, bookkeepersbootcamp.ca, just scroll right down to the bottom and sign up for Enhancing the Accountant Bookkeeper Connection series. Our 3 coaches are Miss Jeannie Whitehouse of our community. Yay. Jonathan's wife, Julia. So you can give Julia's full name, Jonathan, if you want, and then the other coach, because I don't know his name.
It's Julia Kativo Carter. She works with female entrepreneurs on marketing automation and mindset. And Brian Kaplan, who is a coach, his company is called Construction Consulting, and he's a coach for smaller residential and commercial contracting businesses and construction business. He's blown me away. That he's part of the reason why I wanted to start this. So.
Yeah, awesome. So it
Everybody
should be.
have a great weekend and hopefully
Yes, thank
we'll see
you, you
all
too.
next week.
All right,
Take care,
take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.